Hello, I'm Victor DeRenzi, Artistic Director of Sarasota Opera.
And I'm Richard Russell, General Director of Sarasota Opera. And here we are on the stage getting ready for our 2024 Winter Festival.
Yeah, there are a lot of sets around us here, Richard, and it's exciting to have our stage crew working, and simultaneous to this, singers are rehearsing.
There's so much activity in the building right now with our singers. Our orchestra will be coming before too long, and things are getting ready to have a really wonderful Winter Opera Festival.
And right now there's one empty space in the theater, and it's over there. It's our seats. And I know those are going to be filled pretty soon.
And we're looking forward to February 17th when we open the season with Bizet's opera Carmen. Do you love Carmen as much as I do?
I really do love Carmen. It's an opera that I got to love very early in my life, and so it has a very special place for me. And I've done quite a few productions of Carmen in Sarasota, actually at Sarasota Opera, so it's exciting to be doing it again. It's an opera that never gets old.
That's the same for me. Carmen was my first opera. It's one of the operas that made me fall in love with the art form. And it's a great first opera, I think, for people. It has wonderful melodies in it, some very famous, like the Toreador song and Habanera. And it's a great story. It's a really dramatic storytelling, great characters. I think it's a wonderful piece for people to come see.
And it has a lot of texture because obviously it's an opera, so there's singing, but there's also dancing, big chorus scenes, as you mentioned, and it has a lot to offer. There's a reason it's been popular since 1875.
And we have a wonderful production with great singers, wonderfully directed by our great friend Martha Collins. So I think people are going to really enjoy our production of Carmen this year. So our second opera is an opera we haven't done for, what, about 10 years?
Yeah, even a little more than that. Donizetti's Luchia Damore.
No, Luchia Damore has been famous because of the mad scene. It's a great showcase for a coloratura soprano. I mean, years and years, you know, some of the great coloraturas, Lily Pons, Joan Sutherland, these are singers who really reveled in this piece, and audiences love that, you know, wonderful mad scene where the singer just shows everything that she can show.
And it's an iconic opera. I remember reading in historic novels when characters in the novel went to an opera, it was very often Luchia Damore sitting there for the sextet, the famous sextet from Lucia.
Yeah, one of the great ensembles of opera was sextet, when all the dueling families are together. And it's not only a great opera for soprano, but it's also a great opera for tenor and the baritone. And one of our favorite singers, Young Buck Kim, is celebrating his
20th anniversary with us.
And he'll be in our production of Luchia Damore. So we hope you'll enjoy this wonderful opera by Gaetano Donizetti. And it's the second opera in our Winter Opera Festival.
Our third opera of the season is Verdi. We welcome Verdi back, as we try to do every year. And this is his opera Louisa Miller, which Louisa Miller is a beautiful opera. It was written around the time of his famous Rigoletto, Trovatore, Traviata, of that so-called trilogy of operas. And it has much of the same beauty, not only musically, but in terms of the emotion of the characters and the depth of how they express themselves, through the music that Verdi wrote for them.
Yeah, I love Louisa Miller. You know, Louisa Miller is one of the lesser known of Verdi's operas, but it's one of my favorites. There's such great ensembles in this piece. Of course, being a former tenor, there's a great tenor aria.
Great tenor.
And just it's a really great piece. And I'm very excited because the cast that we had last year for Ernani, much of them are coming back to sing in Louisa Miller. We have Rafael Davila, Aviva Fortunato, Ricardo Rivera. I think it's going to be a great production.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's an opera that nobody really knew much about it, and then in 1969 there was a production of it at the Metropolitan Opera, which not only because of people in the audience, but of broadcasting it and people seeing it on the tour at that time, became very well known, and it has become a vehicle for opera companies all over the world because it does have a great tenor part, which was sung by Domingo Carreras and Pavarotti.
Exactly.
And of course, the lead character, Louisa Miller, has been sung by many of the great sopranos.
Yeah, I think it's going to be exciting. And of course, we at Sarasota Opera are known for our Verdi productions. Maestro, you're the only conductor ever to have conducted all of Verdi's works. And it's a special, part of our, dare I use a marketing term, brand of Sarasota Opera. And I think our audiences will enjoy this production of Louisa Miller.
And how can you have an opera company without doing Verdi? Because so many of the great works are Verdi, and it's, very often people want to know, why haven't I heard of Louisa Miller if you tell me it's such a great opera? And part of the reason is Verdi wrote many great operas, so most companies are going to do Rigoletto and Traviata, Aida, and operas like that, and they should get to Louisa Miller.
No, absolutely. Speaking of great composers, the last opera in our season is by a great composer, somebody who's really well known for his symphonies, his quartets, his keyboard music. That's Franz Joseph Haydn. But he's not as well known for his operas. His operas don't get performed very much. They were kind of hidden in a castle in Hungary for many years, and only recently, since the 1950s, have they begun to be performed more. And so the opera we're doing is called Deceit Outwitted, or L'infedeltà delusa. And I think it's a great example, and I think people are going to really enjoy it.
I do too. It's a wonderful small opera, and very much in contrast to what we're doing, because that's important to us in putting together a season, is that we have a certain amount of contrast of styles and looks of productions. And this opera has 5 characters in it, and it has some extremely funny moments. The orchestra, it's a smaller orchestra than, for instance, an opera like Carmen, but it is still our Sarasota Opera Orchestra, and we're very much looking forward to that day or two to playing some Haydn, an opera that they know is written by a composer who knows how to write for instruments, considering he wrote 104 symphonies.
Exactly. I mean, Haydn was such a great composer and so busy, and actually for a period in life was very, very busy in the production of opera, but that never got disseminated outside of his job, which was in a castle in Hungary. L'infedeltà delusa is the only funny opera in our season, the only one where nobody dies. Everybody lives happily ever after, and we have a wonderful cast for that as well. Some great singers, some great old friends of ours, and I think people are going to really enjoy discovering this relatively unknown work. So we hope everybody will join us for our 2024 Winter Opera Festival. I hope you'll get your tickets now. They're selling quite well for this season, and we hope we'll see you at one or all or multiple performances of all of our operas.
Is it too late to subscribe?
It is not too late to subscribe. As a matter of fact, I've been getting these notifications every day. We sold 4 subscriptions today, so we're filling up quickly, and it's not too late to get a discount by ordering all of the operas in our season.
Thank you all.